Hey guys, and welcome to Witchin' and Bitchin' a podcast. I'm your host, Darren.
And I'm Vicky. How are you all? I can't help saying
You always ask that. It's like you're waiting for them to like talk at the screen or at the.
But I can't help it. I try. Makes me twitch if I don't say it.
Oh my god! So guys, you're in for a real treat today. So we've got a special guest with us. So Colin Bedell is a queer Gemini twin from Long Island in New York. He's a passionate student of secular personal growth systems and the universal spiritual themes explored in A Course in Miracles. My bad. Well and Good magazine listed Colin as one of the most influential people in the wellness industry and as a 2020 innovator. Complementing his work with QueerCosmos, Colin's the weekly horoscope writer for Cosmopolitan.com. And his best-selling first book, A Little Bit of Astrology from Sterling Publishers, debuted in November 2018. His second book, QueerCosmos, The Astrology of Queer Identities and Relationships, launched last November and was ranked number one as the number one astrology book for beginners by DailyDot magazine. And his third book, Gemini, by Sterling, debuted in January 2020. So can you please welcome Colin Bedell?
Yay!
Thank you for having me. I love you both already. Ask people, how are you? I hope people go, good, great. Next time.
That's it. See, that's what I kind of hope. Like while they're listening, they just answer me while they're doing it.
No, I'm telling you now, moving forward, all your listeners will make sure that they respond.
Because if you don't, Colin will come for you.
I am.
That's it.
Okay.
That's it.
Mind you. Anyway, it's so good to be here. I love your energy already. This is going so well.
Oh, good. I'm so excited. And I must just say, the younger version of me is just kind of bursting inside. I'm like, the younger version of me, that makes me sound really, really old. But anyway.
And I was like, Gemini, how old are you? You weren't.
Yeah. But I was like such an avid Cosmopolitan reader. And
so cool.
And also the astrology is also the part that I always love the most. So not only is it somebody that works for does Cosmo, but it's also the astrology as well. So that was always my favorite part.
Vicky, I still cannot believe that that's who I work for, because it's really, being a Cosmo astrologer, we have such a legacy. Like, we have been putting forward astrological literature in mainstream since the early 70s, late 60s.
Yeah.
And yet what's really funny is that in the astrological community, if they go, oh, what do you write for Cosmo? It's almost like, oh, you're too accessible, therefore you must be dumbing it down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Strange, like, dichotomy, which I'm sure you understand, Gemini.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, it's an honor because accessibility is my value, and Cosmo has never said, we don't like the way that you put in specific research or methodology or books of literature, so like, you do what you gotta do. And that's why I'm real proud to be a part of the Cosmo Council.
Yay. And I'm sorry, but I'm just very excited about that as well. I also love the fact that you're a Gemini, so I know I'm not going to be getting any shady comments about the whole Gemini thing.
Bitch, I'll be throwing some shade.
I'm sure you will.
We'll throw it right back, okay?
Yeah, that's right.
4 against 1.
Yeah, that's right. That's it.
Do you know what I think is really cool is the fact that you not only are you a Gemini, but you are actually a twin.
Literally. Exactly.
So you're literally a Gemini, like.
I know.
We're fucking through. Like, these stories live on in our experience if we pay attention to them. I mean, it's really amazing. And I'm only in a group of other Gemini twins. Beyonce's Gemini twins, Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen are Gemini twins. Laverne Cox and her twin brother. Oh yeah, we have so many Gemini twins. Yeah, and according to somebody, I don't know if it's been fact-checked and verified, but the highest amount of multiple births in the United States happens when the sun is in Gemini.
Wow.
Like, don't quote me on it, because I read it somewhere and it could be one of those things of like, let me just...
Yeah, someone just chucked it out there.
Right, like, according to science.
Yeah, that's it.
Actually, I know this is diverting off topic a little bit, but I do have to ask, because this is something that whenever I bring up the topic of astrology, especially recently, there has been, and I'm pretty sure I've seen this same storyline pop up every 10 years or whatever. This whole thing of this new star sign and the new day. It's like, can we just squash that for once and for all?
Yes, can we?
Yeah, please.
I'm having to fact check these hoes. Yes.
Yeah. So can you like just give us the official word as the astrology guru?
Yes.
In my eyes, you are.
Yes.
In my eyes, you are.
Yes.
Astrology guru, like in your no fucks given Long Island way, just squash that
Just
rumor.
squash it.
You are your fucking sun sign. Don't get your tattoo removed, all right? You are irrefutably the fucking sign you are. Relax, right? You're right. And the only reason why media has to put that out into the fucking internet is because they don't get clicks. But when you say your star sign has changed, everyone and their mother goes to that website. So it's just fucking journalists who can't think of new pieces, okay? And they put that trash in there to cause internet hullabaloo.
Yeah, thank you. Guys, you heard it here first.
Yes. Squash that one.
Right, a lot of astrologers are saying it too, but it's just like, oh, must we? And it often comes out, you guys, I don't know if you've noticed, but when Mercury is retrograde.
Oh, yeah.
Ah.
So there's something to be said about that. And I'm not anti-Mercury retrograde. I love Mercury retrograde, but I can often always go, oh, we got another one. Here we go. The 13th sign, bullshit. And then 3, 2, 1, I see it on Facebook.
Yeah.
Predictable bitches. Go ahead.
I've actually learnt to embrace the Mercury retrograde. Like now I use it as my biggest scapegoat for any conversation that goes poorly. I say to my husband, I'm like, we're not arguing right now. It's just Mercury retrograde. Like, just forget about it. Don't worry about it. This argument doesn't need to happen.
Okay. It's okay.
I love it. And Darren, I hope that like you just say it to people who wouldn't know otherwise.
Oh yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I do actually say, so I teach fitness classes and I actually talk about like various different astrological things that are going on. So when I'm being like, when I forget what I'm doing or whatever, because I'm a moon sign, like I'm a Cancerian. So when I like have that like brain fart moment of where I forget what I'm doing at the time, I'm like, oh guys, don't worry about it. It's just full moon energy. It's fine. Or like, or like when I'm tongue tied, I'm like, oh shit, this fucking Mercury retrograde. I can't seem to get the words out today. And they're like, they just look at me like, what?
I know, yeah.
And I just leave it and I just don't even address it.
Yeah.
And let me tell you something right now. That has to be the untapped comedic resource of the astrological community.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because I just said to a client today, she was like, I just don't understand. She's from Long Island too, very dramatic. I just don't understand why, like, I can't get my facts straight. I'm so confused. I'm tripping over my words. I was like, bitch, just tell everybody, look, Mars is stationing direct in my 12th house. I don't know what to tell you. Right?
Love that.
People get stupefied. Like, you throw fairy dust in their eyes. It's fucking hilarious. And I do it all the time just to, like, look at you for a loop and then walk away. Like,
I'm going to write that one down. I'm going to write that one down. I love it.
Yeah. I'm just Mars is stationing direct to my 12th house. I can't think straight. And then just walk away.
See, we do that with tarot because I have this catchphrase, tarot is life. And so I'll literally say, like, I'll say to someone randomly, like, you're giving me a lot of 5 of Cups energy right now. What I really need is a Page of Swords. And they're like, what?
I know.
I just drop it and then run. Anyway.
No, it is kind of hilarious. Like, even my brother, I'll start yapping, but I have a Taurus big brother, right? And my Gemini twin sister is a school psychologist. So she specializes in psychology. And then I specialize in astrology. So my brother, whenever he wants to do a stand-up routine, he's going to say, look, if you ask my sister what's wrong with me, she'll tell you I'm on the autism spectrum. If you ask my brother what's wrong with me, he'll tell you I'm a Virgo rising. I don't know what it is, but you guys figure it out, right?
I love it.
It's true. It's another language, and it just helps me all the time.
It's so good.
I love that. I love that. Can we wind it back a little and go?
Sure.
So what kind of? Let's just go back a little, just
Right.
a little bit. So what got you into astrology? Like, how did you get to astrology?
How did I get here talking to you two?
Yes.
People. So actually, funny enough, the room that I'm in right now, I'm at my grandmother's house on Long Island, and this used to be my mother's bedroom, and I have a picture of her here, and she is in front of a Cancerian picture, because she was a Cancer. She was about 13 years old, and she had this like glow-in-the-dark velvet poster. So my mom studied astrology and loved it and read the books really young, and she was never working as a practicing astrologer. She just noticed the patterns, and she used it in her household really all the time. And she would say things like, oh my God, your Leo father, I'm gonna kill him. I cannot with him today. Okay. And then she'd be like, my Gemini twins forever changing their minds. I can't keep up. Right. So it was always that. And I was like, what are you talking about? And then I finally just Googled it. And then it just seized me when I was 12 years old, and I've been like just reading it like a menu ever since. But then in my early 20s, I started going to events and, you know, workshops and lectures on astrology. And back to Gemini air language, I mean, I cannot believe that people were so fluent in a particular room, because when you know it and other people don't, God bless, sometimes you feel like you're speaking a foreign language. So I went into this room where people knew way more than I did, and I was trying to keep up. I was like, ugh, I want to stay here forever. And then I just started studying it and advancing my other interests in A Course in Miracles and like systems of personal growth and psychology. And then when I was 27, 28, I published the website QueerCosmos with my best friend. And then 2 weeks later, I was fired from my day job. And I was like, you know what? I guess that this is a sign. Like, I'm just going to kind of take a leap of faith. I was actually fired on my mother's birthday, which is
oh no.
So back to mom. And then
isn't that funny? It's back to mom.
I know it is, and it's weird because I kind of just realized that here. And then on right around August, so 2 months later, that's when Cosmo contacted me, and that was the first paid astrology gig I have. And I've just been feeling like I'm pulling rabbits out of a hat every fucking day since. Like, I cannot believe I've been doing this for almost 3 years now, and I'm just so grateful for it every day.
Wow. So like that just blows my mind that you're like, oh yeah, I'm kind of interested in these things, start going to these things. If I went to one of those conventions, I would literally just be like, because like, no joke, like for me, like I know my sun sign, I know my rising sign, I know where all my planets are, in which sign, da 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 da. Basically, I'm just a whole lot of water is my sign, with a little bit of this and a little bit of that. But then when you start to put it all together, I feel like someone's like doing like advanced algebra, or we're trying to like solve some equation of like metaphysical time warp, something continuum, blah blah blah, and I'm just like, huh? And that's when I just glaze over. So
Darren, that's exactly what happens to me every time I go to those fucking things, and I'm doing this professionally.
Oh wow, really? Well, you have me fooled. So like,
I'm just pretending. No, because like there are astrologers out there, like they're all researchers, and I think that's what I love. Astrologers were like closeted researchers, so they'll just be throwing out these astrological dates, and the next thing I know, I'm learning about the Spanish flu, which took place in 1918, which brings me to the Saturn-Pluto conjunction of the 1980s and the AIDS crisis, and now flash forward to 2020, and they just take us through this extraordinary research point of view. And yes, sometimes a lot of it goes right over my head, because as astrologer Sam Reynolds told me ever so funnily, he said, look, you know what? Not every astrologer is a good public speaker. So you just have to kind of recognize that I would go to these places and they wouldn't care that you were confused. They just wanted to hear themselves talk. And I was like, convenient. But then I would go to other places where clearly that dialogue was there and they tried to make it as accessible as possible. And those are the lectures that had a bigger impact on me. So that's been a part of my work since the beginning.
So then for our listeners, like obviously, because we tend to focus so much on our sun sign. But then I know with real astrology, like a lot of your actual makeup comes from where the other planets are. Like, you know, your ascending and your moon and your Mercury and da 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 da. So what's like if someone wants to get into this, but they get overwhelmed, like Vicky and I have been many times. Like what are the little nuggets of advice that you have to get someone to understand it a little bit more, or like where should they start with? You know what I mean?
Yes, you know, I actually probably would recommend them to hire a professional astrologer, because he will walk you through, based on your natal chart alone, what you need to know about your astrology and what's happening in the transit. So like if it's within their budget, I would say talk to a professional astrologer to really make it come alive, because my first reading, when my astrologer made it come alive, that's what christened me to the system, and I never looked back, right? Because it's one thing to just learn by yourself, but astrology, it's an interactive experience, I think. And so I would say hire one to walk you through that. And there are affordable rates out there that you can work with. And then I would also say, try to have an inquiry that is not going, okay, I know I'm a moon in Libra and my sun is in Capricorn and my sun is in Cancer, but like, which one's more important? You know, people want like quick tips. Which one is it? What do I focus on? But astrology says you're all of it and you're multidimensional. Isn't that a wonderful thing? You know? And I'm sure you guys know that as metaphysicians, right? Is like the whole tarot is a story, you know? Astrology is a story. And so like, don't think, I know, but I really, which one do I need to focus on? It's like both ends, bitch. Not only, but also Jesus Christ. So anyway, sorry.
Yeah, no, it's kind of ironic and hilarious because it's like everyone who knows me knows I'm a Cancerian. So yes, I am a dummy spit and hissy fit star sign. I'm the queen of all things tantrum and drama.
Okay.
But I'm also Capricorn rising. So when push comes to shove, I know how to just be, really structured and regimented and that's it. This is the final word and that's whatever. But then also with my moon sign, now I don't know if I'm understanding this correctly, but because my moon is in Libra, with my emotions, I can be a little bit cutting and a little bit blunt, or a little bit like I'll like weigh up situations and then just make a final judgment. And then it's like, if I'm pissed off, I'll slice your head off. Is that right in the energy that I'm thinking of?
You know what? Your analysis is right, but let's actually do it like this, right? So when you're in Libra feels something, you are a cardinal air sign, so you're quick, you're 0 to 180.
Oh, yeah.
So it starts there, and then the sun sign is like, oh, and now everyone's going to fucking know, because I'm a sun in Cancer, that if you wronged me, you selfish son of a fucking bitch, after everything I do for you, okay? Right? I made this abundantly easy for you, okay? And then that gets filtered through Capricorn. I would say the biting is Cap. Everything gets filtered through that. Nobody can literally turn someone into like sub-zero, kiss of death, ice freeze, polar blast like Capricorn.
Wow.
Because Libra could almost like, I'm not even going to get my hands dirty fighting with you. I'm just going to remove myself from your life, and then you will have to figure it out.
Wow.
Cancer can certainly take you to like the court and say, I made you breakfast today. I called your mother. I organized. I made the bed, and this is how you treat me, right? But Capricorn will deliver like you fucked all the way up.
I feel like you're reading into my soul.
Look at you,
right now.
I was about to say, I can see your face just go, oh fuck.
Like all three are cardinal signs, Darren. So it's like they're fast. Cancer, Cap, and Libra are the 3 of the 4 cardinal signs. You're just missing Aries.
Yeah, I was actually going to make a joke about that and say, like, I've got Cancer, Capricorn, and Libra. The only one I'm missing is Aries. Like, I don't have any Aries in me. Do you know any? As a joke.
Stop it! Yes, I do. And once you have a mini, you'll never go back.
And by the way, husband, if you're listening, I'm just joking.
Just joking, says the Libra. Yeah. Lighten up. But then if anybody ever did that to you, you'd be like, what an insensitive fucking prick, right? That's big Cancer energy. I can flirt, you can't.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, and like that's the thing with Cancer. Like I literally have. Hang on, let me just quickly. I'm going to do this while we're still recording. I'm still on screen, right?
Yes.
You haven't lost me yet, have you?
No, you're still there. You're
good.
Still there. You're fine.
Good. So just
go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say.
No, you go.
I've got my sun is in Cancer, moon is in Libra, Mercury and Venus are both in Cancer, Mars and Saturn are both in Scorpio, Jupiter's in Capricorn, and then the outer planets Uranus, Pluto in Sag. So and then Pluto's in Libra as well. So like I'm literally just like water with a little bit of this and a little bit of that.
Yes, and you know why I like your astrology? Because honestly, like you are not here to make anybody comfortable.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I would have said that as soon as I looked at your astrology, is like with that much Scorpio and truth, like which is the prolific truth teller and like collects the circumstances, and just like, nope, this is where you're irresponsible, this is where you're dishonest, this is why I don't trust you, versus this is why I do trust you, right? And then again, Capricorn delivers the law from up high, right? The moon in Libra really delivers the verdict of certain things and really can sort of say, that's not equal, that's not fair. And then the Cancer sun, though, it's interesting because that is an energy that has to create home, that has to choose family really carefully. But at the end of the day, your chart is not here for anybody's comfort level.
So in other words, I'm a shit-stirring bitch.
Yes.
And like own it. You know what I mean? Like that's what I love about astrology, because I'm like, bitch, own it. It's funny. Like, and I love Libras because yes, they love a little bit of drama. They love a little bit of like, let me just make some people pissed off. And I'm constantly sitting next to them at dinner parties because they have the best gossip, and they just crack me up.
Very true. Very true.
I love it.
Vicky, wait, so I know you're a Gemini sun, but what's your moon and rising?
So I'm an Aquarius moon and a Leo rising.
Oh, excuse me. Okay, so I'm in the company of royalty. Let me make sure that Okay, I love your moon sign, by the way. I got really close to a lot of Aquarius moons last year, and they just light me up. And next year, when Jupiter and Saturn enter Aquarius, well, it's actually about to happen in 2.5 weeks, but 2021 is really going to change the way you look at home, family, and emotional safety.
Oh.
So maybe a move, maybe a difference in community, or a renovation of home, but like you're really questioning like, where do I belong? Why? With whom? Where? When? How? And
that's already started. Yes.
I want you to stay with that question for a while.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I will.
No, I know we touched on it outside of this call, like when we were off air, but you did mention something to us that I would like to circle back to about the Capricorn energy that we had in 2020 and how that's going to change in 2021.
Yes.
What's your little inkling in that?
And for the viewers, like he gave me like a dash of like fairy dust. You should
Sprinkle.
And back to you in the studio, Colin. Okay. So what I think Jupiter, Saturn, and Pluto gave us was a real emphasis on resilience, the fact that none of us are entitled to comfort.
Yeah.
And why did we imagine goal strategy and planning as anything other than just glorified, more manicured control? Right?
Yes.
And now, and so especially the personal growth crowd really needs to hear that too, because we have a lot of like, manifest this and do that and blah, 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 blah. And the universe is like, oh yeah? Let me right. Capricorn energy is just one big bitch slap waiting to happen. I can't tell you how many good bitch slaps I've gotten from my Capricorn influence motherfuckers, and I'm so grateful for it. So that's what it was, it's just really kind of letting everybody know. Also, this is where you're irresponsible. This is where you're emotionally self-indulgent. You think you're the only one who had a heartbreaking past? You and everybody else. Deal with it. Right?
Yes.
That's big Capricorn energy. Oh, I'm sorry. Do you think you're the only one that has a story that will break my heart? Because
I'm literally just describing all. I love it. Because my husband, my housemate, I've got a set of twins that are Capricorns that are in our circle. Like I have so many Capricorns around me. Yeah. They're actually Capricorn twin and both gay.
Oh my God, I love it. I love it.
And they're so, I just love them. Anyway, but like I'm literally surrounded by Capricorn energy. And this year I kind of put it out there to universe. I'm like, hey, like now that COVID, because we were in lockdown in Melbourne for a long time. And then as it was easing up, I'm like, okay, universe, I'm ready to start doing coaching again. Can you please bring me some coaching clients? Same day, I had also said, fucking hell, Capricorns are so hard to live with. I really wish I could learn how to live with you guys because you do my head in sometimes. I then got not one, but 2 new clients, both fucking Capricorns.
You know what? Let me fucking tell you something about doing your head in. It could be because they're trying to teach you something that maybe you have to internalize a little bit more. Yeah. For that. But it's like, because I'm a Capricorn stellium. And so what happens is like, I know where I go when I have to tell people like, what you need is to get the fuck over yourself and keep it moving. But that's what Jupiter and Capricorn and Saturn and Capricorn told all these bitches is like, you're not the only one, precious little princess. So like keep the fuck moving, And so that's now that we're moving Jupiter and Saturn into Aquarius in just a week and a half. Now that we're working with this intelligence, it's like, okay, because I have theoretically gotten over myself, how do I connect to Aquarian themes, which is I'm just like everybody else and therein lies my power. Also appropriate times and places for me to self-identify and individuate as well. But I think that, especially in the higher consciousness crowd, there's an emphasis on specialness. There's an emphasis on preciousness. And so Jupiter, Saturn energy in Capricorn, theoretically, cut that shit right the fuck out and is bringing us into Aquarian energy, which is like, you are part of a beloved community. Start acting that way.
Yes. Yeah. So it's coming back to that more community kind of feel and things like that. Yeah.
Yes, because look, you know what? Ego thinking, loves talking about itself. And so therefore it wreaks havoc in the spiritual community.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. My stuff, my wounds, my trauma. And this lifetime worth of trauma isn't good enough. So I'm going to go back in the past and collect my past life trauma. And I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ already, shut up with that. Okay? So look, you know what? We all got our trauma. I'm not saying we don't. I want to have trauma-informed shit. But guess what? There's a place where too much trauma treatment becomes emotional self-indulgence, and we need to start having trauma recovery, please.
I'm like legit, like I feel like you're schooling me personally, because I'm like I have done so much like past life work of late. only because I literally did, like, I've been doing like my personal development journey really kicked off about in the last 2 years, because I found out some stuff about my past that I didn't know, and so I was healing all of that, and then that's what led me on the course of being a life coach and a health coach and whatever else. So I left corporate world to pursue this now, because now that I've healed myself, I want to help others heal their things, or like, you know, do all that. But then because I'm like, okay, so I've done all this lifetime stuff,
let's go back.
Let's strip more layers, so let's go back. And then like, and it's funny because like the past lives have then triggered more things, and I'm like, so I'm peeling the layers of the onion down and down and down and down and down. I'm like, okay, maybe it's time I stop for a while. Okay, Colin said I need to like ease the rates.
No, you know what? Doing it right a lot. I was totally being facetious in a lot of ways.
No, it's fine.
You know, and with Capricorn stellium energy, there is that emphasis on, okay, if you have the cast on trauma, right? Think of it as like a broken wound, bone, right? So the cast is on it. There comes a time and place when it's time to take the cast off.
Yeah.
Because the wound has healed, and you need to reintegrate, and you need to move from trauma treatment to trauma recovery. And I don't see our crowd talk enough about that.
Yeah, I agree. It's a different, just by that change of words, like it just changes the whole meaning of what you're going and where things are happening from that recovery aspect.
Because I'm glad you mentioned the words, because that's what the North Node in Gemini is in right now. That's what Saturn and Aquarius are about to enter there. Your Libra moon, Darren, can be really essential here, where we're understanding that language and words have power. They work like heat-seeking missiles. And if we're constantly just reinforcing, I'm traumatized, I can't, this pain, this, that, you will be proven right, but it'll be very likely that you'll be proven right and alone.
Yeah.
So you want to start to work on your perception, your dialogue, your listening, your thoughts, your neuroplasticity. Really start to reframe the language from a deficit-based perspective to a strengths-based perspective.
Yeah.
And I have a problem with the fact that the astrological community and others have all these languages for the deficits and the problem and the analysis of the trauma and the shadow and the ego and the this and the asshole, whatever. And not enough on, but bitch, here's what you've done well. Here's how you can flex. This is your resilience. Keep it fucking moving.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bam. That's like
I know, that's like a mic drop.
It's a metaphorical mic drop. Like you just like boom.
But I'm a Capricorn asshole, so like, you know what? It's like, yo, fuck him. Right? Like, we put mustard and sprinkles on the problem. It's like,
oh yeah. That's one of the things I always say to my clients is like, especially when someone presents me with like, you know, they talk about if they've got a specific diagnosis, and I always say to them, like, I'm like, you are not your diagnosis. You are more than that. So just like the fact that when they always start with like, I am, and then they insert whatever diagnoses they've had from a doctor, I'm like, but you're more than that. It's a part of you. It's not all of you. And I have to kind of coach them through that so that they change the language. So, because words have power, like whatever we think and say is what we manifest. Yeah. So, now I just wanted to say, like, I know this is changing topics a little bit, but it's something that I think is really important. What I really love about, like the work that you do is that you've given a voice to so many people that have for so long been voiceless. And what I'm talking about is obviously your book, QueerCosmos, as well as the fact that that's your handle on like Instagram and things like that. And the lens that you apply on astrology, because for so long it's been very heteronormative in its view. It's all about man, woman, like masculine, feminine. But now these days with not just political correctness, but this rise of gender fluidity and gender neutral and everything, like, can I just say on behalf of the queer community, like, thank you for taking us down that journey, because for so long, like, I'd read something and it always talks about the opposite gender and attracting the opposite gender. And it's about that whole, like, you know, you have to be macho, you have to be masculine and all this. And it's like, finally, like, whilst I haven't read the whole thing, like I've been reading some of it so far. And I'm just loving it because the language that you use is like, you've removed all of the stigma and all of the, because it's all about the words, right? So you've removed all of that
language again,
all that triggering language out of it to just make it accessible to everybody. Yes. And side note, I love the fact that you love Brene Brown, because I also love Brene Brown. And I do have to call you out on something though, guys. Like, if you want a book that is like, because when you talk you spoke about it before. You said about like researching things and whatnot. Like, I honestly believe that this is like the penultimate of all books because of the fact that you actually have footnotes where you are talking about where you have done your research. So guys, Colin's not just talking a whole heap of shit. He is backing himself up with hardcore research and evidence. So like, that's why I want to say thank you. Like, you're not just writing some, oh yeah, I'm going to write about gay things because I'm gay. Like, you actually have backed yourself, which I love. But can you tell us, like, how did you gravitate towards the queer voice and the queer theory and everything like that?
Well, thank you so much for saying that. Leave it to a Libra moon to just make me feel very seen and understood. So way to go. Gift of that moon sign. Okay. You know, I think it kind of just sees me. I really, like you, I would read astrological literature and I said, this falls short. And God bless. Like, I really believe that astrologers want to keep up with the adapting times. Most of the ones that I've seen legitimately do. It's just they don't have access to the conversations and theories on gender fluidity, on sex, sexuality, and gender. I mean, queer studies as an academic discipline wasn't put forward in higher academia in the States until the early 90s. So not a long time, right? And so what I tried to do was just, because I had no intention of becoming a professional astrologer, I was also researching what Brene was saying, what interpersonal relationship scholars were offering, what communication scientists were putting forward in specific literature. And what I wanted to do was put that in conjunction with queer studies and queer theory, because really to queer just means to question, to review, to re-examine, and look at pre-existing data on astrology and say, well, wait a minute, is this actually true? And I will have my footnotes to say, not according to these people. So go back to your team and figure it out and come see me, because I'll be right here.
Yeah.
And I only do that because I think a lot of astrological information is just kind of putting theory and saying, let's prove or disprove it, rather than looking at other patterns that have emerged outside of the natal chart and wrapping new language around those theories and bringing that into astrology. Like, I even think that the binary of good or bad compatibility is a queer issue. Because we know that the relationships are not that simplistic. And so that's why we compatibility, right? You know, Vicky, Gemini. So the reason why I put that in the compatibility section was because I could not stand the ethical just dilemma of a person reading my book and feeling like the person that they just choose was irresponsible because it said because I said so. Like, horrible. And the vast majority of astrology books now even still fucking say, yeah, you're more compatible with these bitches, not so compatible with them. Like, let me see your marriage and family therapy degree. Oh, is that what you think? Let me fucking see. Right? So that's why I put that in the book, and I haven't used, like, you know, traditional astrological language or classical astrology. I just no. I put new language around theories that I've observed and said, here, this is what I think. You might want to try it sometime. There may come a time when maybe this is outdated and I'll review and adapt, but this is where I stand right now in 2019.
But see, that's what I love about your work, though, because like, even when we were reading it, like just looking at your website, like you make no apologies for talking in a highly educated manner. I almost felt like I needed a dictionary or a thesaurus while I was reading some of it. I'm like my eyes glazed over at one point because I'm like, oh my God, this guy like uses words I've never even heard before. But then like I'm like, as I read it, like I understand the concept. But like, just like if you go word for word, I'm like, wow, I would never have thought to put those words in a sentence together. But that's what I wanted to point out, is the fact that you are so well researched. You don't just talk a whole lot of shit and self-indulgence of, oh look, I've got a book. Like, you know, it's actually been
it's got lots of substance to it, and it's that
means so much to me, because I think that astrologers, and this isn't because this is something that I'm doing, this is what a lot of astrologers are doing, is just like really putting real qualitative and quantitative analysis outside of astrology into the system and saying, and now where can we go from here? Like, even something as simple as, why do we think only the water signs are capable of human emotion?
Oh, I loved that video that you did.
Yes.
For anyone listening, like I'm sure we're going to talk about it now, but like for anyone that has not seen it, go to his Instagram and look at his like, it was a live video or a reel? I can't remember which one it was, but anyway, the videos.
I remember.
And when he talks about the like water signs and the fact that like, why is all of the emotional stuff on us? Like, let's talk about that now. Like, Yes, because there's a lot of responsibility as the Cancerian. Why do I have to hold my emotions in check?
That's what I quite like, being the air sign. I'm like, okay, but apparently I don't need to worry about it. It's all good.
I know. And that typical Gemini, right? I love it. No, don't ever change, Vicky. But I brought that forward because when I was studying this is academic terminology for the study of human emotion. It's called self-conscious affect. So it's a school of, the intersection of behavioral psychology, emotionality, and behavior. Self-conscious affect, emotion that makes us think about ourselves, right? So what the authors are saying is that we like to believe this popular discourse that we're all more rational and we sometimes get visited by human emotion. But the complete opposite is true, which is that we are all extremely emotional and we only sometimes get visited by critical thinking. And I say that because, again, where's the astrological support of that? And you know what's really funny? Just before I came up here, my grandmother, of all people, Virgo, so she gets all the credit there, gave me this extraordinary kind of aha moment where, because I was trying to figure out, okay, what's a different way that I can reframe, the fire, earth, water, and air signs in terms of how we move about the world. And she said that before an emotion becomes an emotion, it's a thought, air. Then we feel, and then she said, and we make a decision. So now I'm wondering, is it thought, air, then emotion, water? We make the decision from our earth placements, and then we act from our fire. But it's all emotional. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's where they all intersect. And I also think that water signs are capable of extreme critical intelligence.
Thank you.
Yes.
Are you listening, husband?
It's gonna be like, you can't stay in my house. And then the fire signs are capable of tremendous compassion and empathy, because then there's that mythology, and our countries almost, I think, dispel this of the louder and more bodacious you are, you must have less critical empathy and compassion for people, right? Because empathy is only reserved for the quiet, introverted ones. So it's just all this bullshit, And so that's why I get real sensitive about what are astrologers actually saying. And I don't want to hear about the Bible verse, text, quote, who said it 4,000 years ago. I want to know, have you read something updated now? Because if you're only getting your information from multiple sources, you're a lot of things, but a critical thinker isn't one of them, because that's requirements. So make sure you're expanding your literature, please. And then from there, I'd really like to know what the fuck you have to say.
Boom. Another mic drop.
Another one. I
feel like we need to just keep track of Colin's mic drops during the episode. I'm going to go back and watch this when I'm posting it, because this is actually airing next week on Saturday. So by the time this airs, it'll be next week. So I'm actually going to count how many Colin mic drops we had in the you know what? We're going to turn you into a verb. I'm going to do a Colin.
Oh.
Is that a verb or a noun?
I love
that. That's a verb.
Yeah. I'm going to do a Colin, which means mic drop. Boof, yeah.
Well, thank you for saying that, because your boy gets aggressive, so that's where it comes from. I'm like, you know what?
Well, is that because you're from Long Island or from New York? Or
100%. 100. Okay. It's that's what I love about my state, is that these bitches are loud and in your fucking face. And that's how I was raised. That's how my mother is. That's how all my aunts are, my grandmother. I love it. And as soon as I leave, I realize, ooh, damn.
I would love to come to family dinner at your house. Just
I know, that's what I was just thinking too.
Just to watch all of the personalities and all of that bravado and everything. I would just
but then they'd listen to you and go, oh God, say that again. What did he say? Have a cup of cement? Oh, do it again. Let me hear. Right.
Oh, no, have a cup of concrete and harden the fuck up.
I love it.
Have a cup of concrete. I love it. I'll never stop saying that. No, it will be Long Islanders and Australians under one roof. The windows would just explode from the
my God.
So everything would be shaking. It's not going to be.
Well, that's so many people when they come on their podcast, they're like, oh, so what am I allowed to say and not say? I'm like, what do you mean? You can say anything. But can I just talk openly? And we would expect you to talk openly. And honestly, I'm like, and they're like, oh, but what if I cuss? And I'm like, we're called witching and bitching.
I know. When I saw that in the title, I was like, how soon can I sign up? I want to talk.
Yeah, literally, you could say anything you want on this podcast. We don't care. We don't bleep you out. We don't remove anything. It's You can say whatever you want. But I actually wanted to circle back. Like I know that because we've gone off on tangents. We love
tangents.
Okay, good. Sorry if I'm wasting everybody's time.
No, it's not. Not at all. It's all great.
No, it's gold. I love it.
But I guess like I wanted to give you a bit of a plug because I know that for those, because some people they like steer away from astrology. They go, I know my sun sign, that's it.
Yeah,
I'm done. But obviously you have got several books out there. So obviously this is one, QueerCosmos. Then you have a little bit of astrology, which is a bestseller. Do you know it's so much of a bestseller that I tried to find it. I went to 8 bookstores yesterday trying to find it because I wanted to have it up on display, and I can't get it anywhere.
Oh, what? Oh my God, that makes
how exciting!
They have a little bit of every other thing under the sun, but a little bit of astrology. Sorry, sold out. We have to order it in.
Wow.
Like I'm like, motherfucker, that's the only one I want.
Yeah, that's it. That's what I want.
I keep buying it because I got student loans to pay, but like, my God, copy. Okay, I love it.
Yeah, but then you've also got like if someone wants to really dive deep, I believe you've got a course as well that they could enroll into.
Yes. Oh, thank you, my Capricorn rising, because this will help me pay for my flight to come visit you guys. I have an online course in conjunction with the Astro Twins, who are astrologers that have absolutely provided me with my favorite methodology, and also they really launched my career. And so, yeah, they're Ophi and Talia Adut. They are amazing. And so they gave me an opportunity to teach on the astrology of relational intelligence and the astrology of relational dialectics, because as we were just saying earlier, you know, relating is complex. It's not either or. It's a set of contradictions and interrelated polarities. So I discussed relational dialectic theory and relational intelligence theory for about 3.5 hours, which is a long fucking time, okay? And then I put that, and so the Astro Twins are pairing with me, so we're doing a bundle, and you can get their 2021 planetary planner. You could also get their How to Get Along with Anyone guide, and so you'll have month to month, because we're all we're twins, right? So they're twins, I'm a twin. So we're all about like, bitches, this is how you get the fuck over yourself and connect with other people.
Yeah.
So that's what's available now. It's in my Instagram link. You can go on Astro Twins and see the astrotwins.com. I think they even called it like the bundles, and you can learn with me there. Thank you for that plug.
And you've also got on QueerCosmos.com. There's actually a link at the very top of your link.
at the top.
Yes, you're right. I know. And of course, leave it to my friend, and Ophi, who is one of the Astro Twins, Darren. She's a Capricorn rising. So she was like, where are you advertising this, you idiot? So she just like start advertising and putting it out there. She's just like, this is how you market yourself.
This is how you do it.
I know. And Vicky, I'm sure you get that all day long.
All the time. He does all of this stuff. I don't know how to do it. I forget about that stuff.
It's so annoying. Like, I hate it, but just, he's right.
Mm-hmm.
Boom. A listening husband.
Twice today.
He's a Capricorn sun sign, but like I'm a Capricorn rising, so bitch, shut up. Oh, I'm gonna be in so much trouble for saying that.
Don't listen to the recent one, okay? And Darren, what's really powerful about that is those are polar opposite sun signs. So that's a real strong match. Vicky, are you single? What's your story?
No, my whole house is full of air. My husband's an Aquarius, and my daughter's sun sign is a Libra.
Oh, literally the 3 air signs.
Oh my God, what a house. I love that you married an Aquarius, because since you're a Leo rising, that means Aquarius rules your relational sector.
Ah.
So you know how we're thinking about polar opposites, right? So like Darren is Capricorn rising, which actually means Cancer rules his relational sector. So bingo, because it's the 6 signs apart, excuse me. And so because you're a Leo rising, Aquarius rules your marriage zone and relational partnership sector. So your partner's sun sign falls in your 7th house of committed partnership.
Oh.
Ooh.
Yes.
So you guys all have like polar opposite energies, which I love. And that's the beauty of choosing partners that are so different than you to just expand and help you grow and move forward. It's the best.
Although, do you know, like with my husband and I, because we are so polar opposite in every way, like appearance wise, like aesthetic on how we dress, everything is polar opposite. Yeah. So like, and I said to him when we did the math on our baby journey, I was like, wait, so if our surrogate, if all goes well and she falls pregnant from the first transfer in March, do the math, that means the baby will be born at least the 20th of December. But within a month of that, I'm like, oh, fuck, I'm going to have another fucking Capricorn.
Capricorn?
in case one wasn't hard enough. And my housemate's a Capricorn, so it's like we have literally a house full of Capricorns.
Oh,
Okay, D, because you have such a proximity to that energy,
Yeah.
right? What do you wish they knew how to do better? Let's keep it all the way real. Like, I think
Okay.
because we're positioning into Aquarius.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So, what do you wish?
What do I wish that Capricorns knew how to do better?
Yeah, because we can be crotchety.
Express a motherfucking emotion every once in a while.
Honey, that's never going to happen.
No, I know that because it's like I love that meme, and I've showed it to my husband every single time it comes up on my feed. It's like where it says it's got two people running, and the first one says Capricorn, and they're running away, and the back one says, "Let's talk about emotions." They're like,
get me out of here.
because it literally, like, I'm not kidding you. Like in 16 years that we've been together, we just had our anniversary. So in 16 years we've been together, I have seen him. When I say cry, I mean a single tear, like maybe 5 times in 16 years.
Wow.
So like, that's why we say, like, I think that's why our relationship has lasted so long, is because I feel like he's learned how to express and feel things from me. And I've learned how to like switch the emotions off when I need to. Because I used to be a massive, big, dummy spit, hissy fit crybaby. No, not really, but like to an extent, yes. So he's taught me to kind of rein it in a little, and I've taught him to like open up a little. So it's like, that's why when people say, "Oh, how do you get along? Like you're opposites." I'm like, opposites attract, bitches. Like it's true.
Yeah, there's that.
We are testament to that.
Yeah, and that's what it's like with my husband. He's like my little rock. He helps to keep me. I'll keep going up and up and up and up. He helps to bring me back down again.
Oh, I love it. An Aquarius keeping a Gemini.
I know. He does.
Right?
I know. I don't know what the rest of his. I've got to look at the rest of his chart.
I love it.
What else
Vicky,
is there?
and what do you wish the world knew more about what Geminis do well and what we need to improve on? Do you have any like Gemini clear the air public service announcements?
That we're not two-faced.
I completely agree.
Oh, you so are.
Bitch, how do you mute him? No.
You can't.
I know I can't do it. He's
I'm
got
Capricorn
the power.
rising.
The Capricorn.
I have the power.
He's got the power.
God damn it. Okay.
Yeah.
We're not
I'm not stupid. I made sure that I'm always the host of these things.
true.
Yes,
Enter Capricorn rising. I love it. Wait, so Vicky,
Yes.
what do you wish that
I don't want to have the two-faced thing, and I don't want to have the flaky thing anymore.
Oh, I know. Well, what I try to say is that Gemini energy stands for the nature of inconsistency and change, because they're sometimes inconsistent and they go through uncertainty and change. And I think that's why people like to throw us under the bus, because they love either or, this or that methodology. And Gemini is like, bitch, you're a simpleton, because it can be both.
Yeah, I was actually going to say,
I love that.
How I like to think of Geminis is that Geminis are about duality. It's not about this or that. It's about both.
Yes.
The
And
two
understanding
sides.
both sides.
It's not one or the other. It's about bringing both together. Yeah, that's what I always say to people.
100%. And then maybe like, shit, we don't even fucking know, like what's called both and, or not only, but also.
Yeah.
Like, you know, there's so much that we don't know. And like, and that's actually called like dialectic thinking. That's why I love using that language, because so much of popular conversation is monologic. I talk, you listen. Right. And it's like, huh?
Yeah.
You know, and then just built from, you know, certitude, ideology on facts, weaponizing certainty. It's like, that's why I'm constantly going back to astrologers and be like, bitch, according to who? Someone 3,500 years ago? Like, can we not? Like, thank you for the theory. By all means, adapt it. It's a living motion. But like, are you fucking sure? And we have to be the ones to be that provocative question askers, I think.
That's it. Because things have to evolve. They have to move forward to change, have to change to move forward.
No, you may not evolve. You must stay the same.
You know what, Capricorn rising? No, but technically, you're the triple cardinal sign. So you're in motion, right?
You're welcome, world. You are welcome.
Right. And now back to me right now. That's good. Because I want to make sure we give Gemini love, okay? Because it's true. The North Node is going into Gemini. Well, it already is in Gemini. It'll stay in Gemini until the end of 2021. And then Jupiter and Saturn in Aquarius. So it's all about intellect. It's all about thinking, perception, active listening, depolarization work, right? So if you have strong air in your chart, we need to be the biggest grown-ups in those rooms, the most articulate, the most well-researched, the most mic droppy. So bitches can fucking follow our lead, because a lot of bitches don't know how to talk, all right?
Can I ask you one thing?
I love that because I have lots of air in my chart. Sorry.
No, you go on. Go on, Vicky. Go.
I do. Pretty much everything is air except I think I've got one in each, and that's it. One.
This is why I call Vicky my airhead.
Because she's quite literally all
I
air.
am. Yeah, I'm pretty much all air.
Like so she's had to teach me how to write things down and write lists and actually prepare like with pen and paper for interviews because I'm a Cancerian. I like to go with the flow. Like I'm a water sign. Like don't contain me to your structured regimen.
Right.
Like,
right.
I need some structure, or not so much structure. It's just I need to know where my thoughts are going because I have lots and lots of thoughts. So I need to have some kind of structure for that.
And Vicky, that's actually your moon in Aquarius. So structure, methods, those are the 4 fixed signs: Taurus, Scorpio, Leo, and Aquarius. And they really introduce the value of methodological thinking and procedure and theory and models and methods and approaches. They're all about that. They're all about anchoring that creatively and innovate certain things, but not without an anchor.
Yes.
Okay, so we've touched cardinals earlier. We just touched fixed. Like, shall we just briefly touch on mutable as well? So then that way they don't feel like they're not being loved.
We don't always get the love.
I know, you're so good, by the way, to like be the person like, and don't forget who's being left out here. That's your Libra moon.
Oh, really?
100% way to go. Yeah, so we're in mutable sign season right now. The sun is in amazing Sagittarius, or I call it the sun is in Britney Spears because who is
yes.
Then Britney.
She is 100% Sagittarius. She's actually born. She shares a birthday with my sister.
Oh!
And so I throw shade at my sister. I said, why can't you be more like Britney Spears?
That's the gayest thing I've ever heard, and I love it. I hope she's learning. But the 4 mutable signs are Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces. So the mutable signs in the Northern Hemisphere, and the Southern Hemisphere as well, but they're all born while seasons are in transition. Yeah. Right? So I can only speak for the Northern Hemisphere because it'll confuse me. But like right now, the fall is becoming winter. Right? So what season are you guys in? The complete opposite? Spring?
We're opposite. Spring's becoming summer. So we just started summer,
Right? So spring, summer. And so mutable signs are 2 for the price of 1. And we're constantly in transition. We are, and I say this really deliberately, I think that they both midwife new thinking and new consciousness. They can like help people give birth to newness. And I also feel like mutable signs can minister to what needs to die as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. They can really kind of understand like, and this is ending and we need to complete. And this relationship is over and so I must go. Yeah. Like I call every mutable sign the minister and the midwife because they can really operate with life and death beautifully. And I don't think we give them that credit because again, we don't like to deal with both ends. We don't like to do 2 for the price of 1, right? Yep. And so people look at mutable signs and they're like, what the fuck are you doing? Right? Also, to be really honest with you, I have seen the most relational thinking and relational practices from mutable signs.
Interesting. Interesting, because we tend to focus very much on cardinal, and saying that they're the change makers and the blah blah blah. But like, that's actually quite fascinating. So I guess a follow-up question from that, because this is one that it's not often talked about in the astrology research that I've done. Like I can't ever find. I only recently learned that your Lilith is like where you're like, it's a thing that's been talked about, like that's like the dark moon or where the dark moon sat in your chart. So my Lilith is actually a mutable sign. I have Lilith in Pisces. What the hell does that even mean?
Ooh, okay, so that like your repressed sexual energy is of a soulful spiritual nature actually. And then it would actually ask you to consider, how can you spiritualize your sexual relationship with your husband and whoever else?
Wow. Because actually both of us, I've looked at both our charts, we both have Lilith in Pisces, even though we're born 6 months apart. Go figure. I don't know how that works, but yeah.
I think it's a year. I think Lilith stays zodiac sign for like a year or a year and a half, but it's about spiritualizing because I think Pisces is the great spiritualizer. And Lilith is kind of, I think, like soft power and then also like hard feminine power. I don't like that language, but it's technically what it is, right? So it's like, because I almost want to say, wasn't Lilith the first wife of Adam?
Before she was cast out of Eve. That's
right. And so therefore it's like she said no and she stood up for herself. So it's like, how can you do that through a Piscean approach, which is soulful, spiritual in nature? I don't know enough about Lilith. My friend Adam Asise, who's a Scorpio sun, she has an entire astrological website called Lilith Astrology. She loves Lilith, of course, Scorpio sun. I'm just like, yeah, catch me reading academic literature because I'm a fucking cold Capricorn moon. I don't know nothing about these asteroids. It's already too much. Now you got to bring shit in.
I don't want extras.
Right, I'm already confused. And now you're going to add this? More fucking asteroids? But that's all I know about Lilith. Yeah.
Okay, because there was one of the things because I'm like, what the hell is Lilith? And someone actually said to me, they told me about the whole thing about sexual energy and stuff. And then when I told them that, this was actually a friend of mine, Buck, we interviewed him recently, and he's like, oh, so you're Pisces. So basically, when you have sex with someone, you're just flapping around like a wet fish. And I'm like, what? Like he was totally throwing shade.
Right. But I love that.
He's like, oh. And the other thing he said is like, oh, so when you're in bed, you don't know whether you're coming or going. I'm like, excuse you. Like,
that's funny though.
He was being funny. He was being a shady bitch. But yeah.
Is this the Capricorn? What's his sun sign?
Oh,
wait, I don't know.
I can't remember what he's.
I can't remember.
Oh.
I'm not sure.
This is a friend of ours. I'm trying to think what he. I'm sure that we did bring it up though.
We did, but I can't remember.
Oh, I think he's an Aries.
Oh, yes.
I think he's an Aries. I'm pretty sure he is. Because, yeah, we're talking about the fact that he's just like...
That's pretty much what...
Yeah, fire energy. Just, gives no fucks. This is my opinion.
They really don't. And I got to be really honest with you. That, like, turns me on like crazy. I'm like... Look at you. You know? It's just, I'm like, you better do it, honey. Yeah, I love it. Every zodiac sign, they're all different kinds of candy to me. I could eat them all.
Yeah. Oh.
I actually use Skittles. Do you guys have Skittles in the States? You do, don't you? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So I describe a lot of things like Skittles. I'm like, we all have our favorites, but when you're hungry, you'll eat all of them.
It's true. And taste the rainbow.
Yeah, taste the rainbow, right? So, like, before we leave, I'd love to touch on one other thing. Like, Vicky, you were going to bring
Yes, I do. But I was being very conscious of the time, and I'm like,
Vicky, all you.
I really want to know about eclipses.
Yes.
Yes. To kind of just go in everywhere.
And my brain just goes.
So what do they do kind of energetically, astrologically when they kind of pop in?
Great question. So they happen every 6 months, and we either have 2 in a month or 3 in a month, depending on the year. So we just finished the lunar eclipse in our sun sign, Gemini, on November 30th, which is why you're thinking about home and family and emotional safety and belonging. Those things. And the lunar eclipse brings about major change, transformation, and assuming you ascribe to this theologically, Vicky, something of cosmos, there's a fatedness attached to eclipses. Yeah. And so really, I love eclipse season because anything goes. So I just sort of take my hands off the steering wheel and I let the universe kind of do all the driving.
Yeah.
With lunar eclipse, Vicky, you'll want to know that technically it'll bring about a completion of some kind because full moons are full circles. So it's a major ending. Solar eclipses, because they're supercharged new moons, bring about new beginnings. And so because you're a Leo rising, solar eclipses, Vicky, you definitely want to pay close attention to those.
Ooh, okay.
Sun rules Leo.
Yeah.
And so a solar eclipse is going to be humongous for you. The next one is in exactly 10 days. And I don't have your chart in front of me, so I can't say, but if I used whole sign houses, the solar eclipse on December 14th really wants you to actively engage in something of self-disclosure, whether that's... Go ahead.
I was going to say, which aspect of her chart do you want? Because I've got it up on screen.
Where does her 5th house begin?
5th house is Sagittarius, 26 degrees 7.
Oh, okay. So the solar eclipse is in your 4th house then.
It's actually, so Sagittarius is actually across her 4th and 5th house, both.
Yes. Okay. Oh, okay. Right. So then, because based on the location of birth. So then the solar eclipse is at 18 Sag. So because your 5th starts at 22, that means 18 Sag is in your 4th. And so I don't know if you're moving or if something has to do with family, emotional safety, home, and your relationship to motherhood.
Oh.
And because it's Sagittarius, Vicky, you're going to want to really think about how you can live from vision and not circumstances.
Yeah. Yep.
Because I think
that's been the big thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has. It's come up in so many conversations, not in those words, but we've talked about that a fair bit, actually.
Yep, we have.
Like, and I'm annoyed. No, so there's some element of how Sagittarius energy, why I love being around them is because I'd like to believe I'm an imaginative human being. We're in the creative arts, but nothing compared to Sag. And they give me license to just dream a bigger dream and just be generative and have vision and hope and faith. And wouldn't it be amazing if, and just hearing them say it gives me permission to dream audaciously too.
Yeah.
I was going to be a shady bitch with a comment about Sagittarians because I was going to be like, well, because they're ruled by Jupiter, they've got a lot of like gas, not much substance. So in other words, they've got a lot of dreams, not much follow through.
Right. And then enter Capricorn, like, oh yeah, Sagittarius, and who's going to do that?
Yeah.
You. I know, right? So, but I love them for that reason because they really inspire me every fucking day to just like dream bigger.
Keep going. Yeah.
And just be generative, have vision. Do not live a life tethered to circumstances because you will always be right. But have you changed anything? And enter all mutable signs, like this is how you change.
Yeah.
So I love them for that. But those are the eclipses. But yes, pay close attention, Vicky, to solar eclipses because the sun's Leo. So that's going to be all about new moons, new beginnings, and all that. And I think what's coming for you in 10 days.
So does that mean that being a Cancer and being a moon child, I should be paying attention to the lunar eclipse, or not necessarily because of my rising? Or
it depends on how you look at astrology. I think the moon, I think as a Cancer sun, you always want to pay attention to lunar phases, lunar oppositions, lunar things, right? But technically, your Capricorn rising, you're going to want to pay attention to Saturn.
Oh, okay.
Your ruler is your planetary ruler. So Saturn's entering a new sign for the first time in 2.5 years. It's going to enter Aquarius on December 15th. So that's when you're going to notice new patterns. But when Saturn's retrograde, when Saturn's aspecting other planets, that's what you're going to want to pay attention to. And because Vicky's a Leo rising, she's just going to want to pay attention to the sun entering a new sign every month, or when the sun is aspecting other planets, as it does fairly frequently.
I was going to say, in your face, bitch, you have to pay attention every month. I only have to pay attention once every 2.5 years. And I'm just kidding.
But bitch, I'd be bored. I'd be like, oh, I get it.
I know, that's it. I'm the same. See?
No, but in that 2.5 years, so many conjunct and trine and da-da-da would all happen, opposition, da-da-da. So, like, there'd be things happening.
No. Boring.
Boring. No, I want to have my moment. No, I don't. I'm a Leo rising too, Vicky. So like, I feel the sun enter those new zodiac signs. Like every time, I'm like, yes, love this energy.
There we go. We've got the next lot of energy.
Is that common to have like, because you're both the same sun sign, both the same rising sign, like, but you're different moon signs, right?
Yeah, but only by a day. So I'm Capricorn, and I would have been born a day before her. What year were you born, Vicky? Can we ask?
I'm 82.
Okay, I was born in 89. So, but if I was born a few days later, I would have been an Aquarius moon.
Wow. So you're being like spiritual twinsies over here.
Because we would definitely be like sun rising twins. So we'd be like, let's party and talk about it, right?
That's it.
Let's go to a party, but talk the whole time.
Let's talk. Yes.
I don't want to dance. I want to talk, but maybe I'll change my mind. I don't know, right?
Let's go dance now. Let's go back.
That's hilarious. Well,
Gemini energy.
Oh, sorry. No, I didn't mean to cut you off there. So, no, Colin, I just wanted to say, because I'm conscious of time, because you've got your dinner date with Grandma, which I think is so freaking sweet. I just want to pinch your cheeks. Like, that is so cute that you're going for dinner date with Grandma. But I just wanted to say this has been so amazing. Thank you so much for coming on our show.
I love it.
Just to give everyone a quick rundown again, so you've got a little bit of psychology, we have QueerCosmos, and we have Gemini, the 3 books that Colin has written. If you check out his website, it's queercosmos.com. Otherwise, you can check out, that's the same Instagram handle, QueerCosmos. And you've got his online course with the Astro Twin. So if you head to his website, you'll see there's a link at the top, and you can check it out.
You got it.
And we'll pop all of it. Well, should I say Darren will pop all of it.
The Capricorn rising will pop all the information in the write-up.
We'll put the right information where it needs
Leo
to be.
rising queen is much too busy on a state of affairs. Okay. Royal duties. This is so much fun. Like such an energy boost. Thank you. I'll come back anytime and hopefully
Yay. We would love that.
And also, guys, don't forget to check it out because he also does write for cosmopolitan.com. And is it also astrology.com as well?
Yes, as well. Yes, both.
Yeah, so if you want to check out his work, it's out there. Get in touch with your
please do.
get in touch with your inner 15-year-old girl and read Cosmo again.
We all have one in there. That's why I'm still listening to Brittany. Okay. But
Yeah. But thank you so much.
Guys.
Yeah, we love you too.
you.
And you better hit me up when you come to Australia.
Yes.
When?
Yeah, you better have enough space in the car to carry me and like pick up all my shit.
Oh, that's fine.
And then I'll fly over as well.
we already purchased the soccer mum car. In other words, the big like SUV type, the big forward drive. Yeah. So we've already got that.
A Cancer sun. Okay. I love it. Well, I'll see you there. Okay.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much, Colin.
Thank you so much.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.